Hello traders and investors, welcome back to the Trend Trader channel. In today's video, we're going to be looking at some of the companies. We'll be doing technical analysis on some of the companies that will be releasing their earnings this coming week. The information that we are using, we got it from Earnings Whisper. This is a handle that you can follow on Twitter so that you can get this information. From time to time, they give out all the companies or some of the companies that will be giving out their earnings in the upcoming week. You can see the information is sorted by those companies that will be giving their earnings before market open or after market open. I guess the US, they don't release their earnings during the time when the stock market is opened. Remember, the US companies, some are listed in the not in the GSE, some are listed in the New York Security Exchange, while others are listed in NASDAQ. So we're just going to be looking at a couple of these companies. Already you can see that there is a bit of a theme. You see there are some banks, so like First Bank, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, and then there are also other financial companies. You see there is United Community Bank, there is Interactive Brokers. So this means that we might see some of the banks coming up with their result, but also you see there's Tesla and Netflix. We released a video recently where we were looking at Tesla and Netflix, and those positions have done incredibly well. So we're able to generate a lot of money from trading Tesla and Netflix. So if you missed that video, even though maybe they might not be at an ideal levels, but what is important is why we chose those companies. So if you watch those videos, you'll just be looking at the characteristics of some of the companies that have a chance to perform better in the market, especially given the market conditions. In addition to Tesla and Netflix, we spoke about the Taiwan Semiconductor manufacturing company there, where Nvidia has done incredibly well, AMD has done well. We also covered those companies, but you can see there's also Johnson & Johnson, some of the companies that have performed well, especially during the COVID period. There's Novartis, there's Johnson & Johnson, and then there's a plenty of other companies. There's Phillip, Morris International, for those people that are interested in investing in tobacco stocks. So Philip Morris is one of those companies that pays quarterly dividends, specifically for South African investors, because we know we've got a British American Tobacco, which is one of the few companies in South Africa that pays quarterly dividends. So Philip Morris is another tobacco stock that you can consider investing in. And then, as you can see, there is also American Express in there. So we're not going to cover each and every company. We're just going to be looking at this list and then see what that company looks like in terms of technical analysis, because we use technical analysis to try and find trading opportunities. It's not just about owning that stock. It's not about looking at the business itself. When it comes to trading, we're more interested in the risk to reward based on price action. But other people that do something like value investing, then you can use the chart and with your other information that you find to supplement your decision making. So the first stock that you want to look at is the Bank of America. We know that Warren Buffett, he owns a lot of this stock, but technically for us, we can see that the stock is in a downtrend. It hasn't crossed this area of interest for us. So we are really not interested in this stock. So we are looking at the weekly chart, going all the way back from 2021. Preferable one to look at 2-year data. So I'm just gonna try to sort out my chart so that I can see maybe at least somewhere until June 2021. Coming back, we are now in July 2023. So Bank of America does not interest me. You can see there's also Charles Schwab. It's another company in the financial sector. So at this moment, it is also trying to recover there. Let's see if there's another company that might have a positive chart. We saw there was a move on Morgan Stanley. So let's see. Basically, by the look of things, all the US banks or the US banks that are present here, we don't see a much interesting price action. However, it's important that we need to note this level. When those earnings come, we want to see whether the stocks are going to close above this level. For all the banking stocks, Morgan Stanley, Charles Schwab, Bank of America, every banking stock that we have looked at. So now I think it's better that we start to move away. There is Lockheed Martin. We know this is a government military supplier there in the US. So it's one of those companies that sort of benefit when there are conflicts. So we see with whatever is happening in Russia and Ukraine. So when you look at this stock, so far it's just trading around this level, which was the previous high of March 2022. But you can see that the stock has tried to trade above this level. It has tried to reach $500 per share. However, now it has been trading in what looks like a range. At this moment, it is at the bottom of the range. You can see there's a green volume that happened last week. So for people, especially for short-term traders, you can consider taking a swing trade, targeting that previous high, which is just below $500 per share, and then set your stop loss just below 460. That is an alternative trade. Basically, this trade would have probably worked if it was not an earnings week, because now remember, when these companies they come up with those results, sometimes there is an added volatility in the market. That volatility, it comes from when there's those earnings results are coming out. But as things stand, just looking at technical analysis, this is a potential trade targeting that previous high of about $493 per share. So that is a trade that you can consider when you're looking at LMT, or it's just better to wait and see that volatility there. But remember, if you wait, the stock might just shoot up and then you will miss that trade. So it's always a 50-50 short. So some of the health companies, they haven't really been doing well, especially since now COVID is like a thing of a past. Let me see, what does the chart of Novartis looks like. Not to say that we are way past COVID, but it is not a bigger deal like it used to at that previous years. Remember, a lot of these companies, including Moderna, they did incredibly well. So now the good thing about Novartis, we can see that it is on something that looks like an uptrend. It found support around this level. So other people, they might have bought the dip. If you did not buy the dip, then you can just wait to see if Novartis is going to trade above this level. Then you can take a trade higher, targeting higher prices. At this moment, it's just a matter of waiting to see how the stock is going to trade. With positive result, the stock might go up, but if the market interprets the result as negative, then we won't be surprised if the stock it falls there. So we don't have a position. We're not gonna force a position on Novartis. It's something that we're just gonna be looking at it from a distance. Right, what else did we talk about? Halliburton, it's a energy company. It did well in 2020 when the rest of the US market was just moving down. We traded this stock a lot last year. We were able to make a bit of money from it. We can see now the stock is trading above the key level. It has this past 3 weeks, there was a nice period of accumulation of those assets there. So obviously we missed an entry somewhere in here, so we're not going to chase the stock. This is our level of interest. We want to see if Halliburton is going to be able to break above this level. Remember, that level coincides with that previous high in there. So if Halliburton trades above $43 or so, then we can start to be interested in this particular company. Remember, this is just based on this chart and of the companies that will be releasing their earnings. There are other companies that are already doing way better than some of the companies that we're gonna look at. So you shouldn't just tie your capital in some poor performing companies, whereas there are companies that are performing very well in the market. Speaking of companies that have been doing well recently, we mentioned that we covered the video on Tesla, but now it is worth looking again to see where we can trade Tesla. Previously, when we covered Tesla, it had just started trading above this level. You could see that now it had about 5 weeks of price accumulation. Then there was a bit of a breather here where the stock just started to move a bit sideways. So now when you look at the recent week, we can see that the stock broke above this level here around 281. So there are still these levels where Tesla still needs to break above, but I mean, obviously if you bought around 281, most likely will have a stop just somewhere in here. If the stock can trade and come back to at least 400 US dollar per share, again we are looking at a trade that has a minimum risk to reward of 1:3. So that is a trade based on risk management and the potential reward. This is a trade that is worth considering, but you already have a position, we have a stop loss, so we hope that there won't be too much volatility when results come, at least if the stock just come up with positive numbers and then it pushes up. But if the market interprets it correctly, then it push down. We have our stop loss there to ensure that we don't lose a lot of money while the stock is in profit, to ensure that we protect the profit that we have from this particular company. Now moving away from Tesla, we mentioned that the video we did, it was for Tesla and Netflix. Remember, Netflix said that they're gonna start to crack down from some of those people that share passwords. So as you can see, our trade is nicely in profit. So we bought more Netflix shares when it broke above this previous resistance level here. As you can see, we had our stop loss just below that candle that triggered our entry. So far the stock is up by about 1:3 in terms of risk, so we have about positive 3R trade. So we are targeting this low for now because we expect that the stock might stall a bit in there. So if Netflix is able to push to somewhere around 519, 520, then we're gonna make a decent amount of money from this position. We're not planning to close this position anytime soon. Even if the stock comes with bearish news, then maybe it might find support. If this line continue to move up, it might try to find support in there. But obviously we don't want that scenario, because as you can see, it will take us back to break even. The best case scenario is that Netflix just shoot up in there so that we can reach our short-term target. So fingers crossed that Netflix comes up with positive results. So what else from Tesla and IBM? Still dynamics. Can we see if that company is generating some money? Because like I said, there's a lot of other sectors that are performing better than others. There are companies that are performing better than others. So we're just gonna check it in case the material sector is doing well. So you can see that this line that we're interested in is sort of declining. So this is not a stock that will catch our interest. Whether the stock come up with positive or negative news, we're not really interested in this company because we're not expecting much anything from IBM. So this is one of the oldest company. I mean, in terms of it has been listed in the US, it probably pays dividend, but you can see the price just keep on swinging up and down. From a trading perspective, there's no money to be made based on our approach. Maybe from other approaches there's money to be made in here, but this is something that definitely does not interest us. So we spoke about TSM, the Taiwan Semiconductor manufacturer. We covered the stock previously, we traded it a bit, but most of our semiconductor position are now in Nvidia. But you can see that it broke above this level, traded higher, came back, found support. It took out this previous resistance level. So far it has been consolidating. What we noted is that with this consolidation, the stock found support from that previous resistance level. So we want to see if TSM can trade above 106, 107. If it does, that could be a sign that the stock is still gonna continue to move up. Just to put things into perspective, yes, TSM is in a different business than Nvidia, but we want to compare TSM with Nvidia so that you can show you that sometimes it's better to put your money in the winning horse, even though the stock might be in the similar sector. You can see from, let's say, from somewhere around June 2021, Nvidia is up by 200%, whereas TSM is just up by about 3.6%. So it is important that at all times you try to be with the stocks that are performing better than the other stocks, because time is money, and for you to be able to generate a lot of money from the stock market, you should at least be able to compound your money rapidly. So yes, TSM is positive, but if there is a better stock than TSM, it's better for us to put our money in that company. Johnson & Johnson, another company that pays dividend. Maybe dividend investors like it, but from trading perspective, we don't like it. You can see that it's like it's trading in a range, and then it broke below this level. Even though it has attempted to trade up, you can see that recent resistance level, it failed to break above this level. This line is declining, so definitely it's not something that we're interested in. But like I said, this stock, it does pay dividend. So for dividend investors, maybe value investors, they can look at the company financials and everything that entails value investing, and then make an informed decision for investment purposes. But for trading purposes, it is not something that we are really interested in. Okay, Nokia, we're not gonna bother ourselves with Nokia. We see here there is a BlackRock, but this is the Blackstone group, not BlackRock. So it's BK. Well, let me ensure that I have the correct. It's BX. So there's a difference between Blackstone and BlackRock. Blackstone is in asset management. BlackRock is in asset management. Blackstone is in a different business. Yeah, I think now I'm starting to confuse myself. Nonetheless, the stock, it looks very attractive. Ideally, we would have wanted to buy it here before it break above this level, but now you see there's a big gap from just somewhere around $94 per share to about 104. So that is a $10 risk that we are not willing to take. But what we like about this breakout, it was accompanied by above average volume. So now, will there be a pullback? We don't know if this gonna be a pullback, but Blackstone does look positive. We are happy with what we see here. There could be potential trading opportunities. It's not necessarily opportunities that we will take ourselves, but the chart, it looks positive. If you can do further research on your own, you can make an informed decision, right? I spoke about Phillip Morris. Like I said, it's a tobacco company. It pays a quarterly dividend. If you believe that people are going to continue to smoke, you can see the chart is not that exciting. Same with British American Tobacco for South African investors. Okay, this BTI, it's in US. Let me open British American Tobacco that is listed in the JSE. You can see that the price is not actually that exciting. In fact, now we're looking at this level. What the stock is going to do at this level, is it going to find support and then go up? If it fails to find a support, it's going to take the unfortunate route that the stock break below. But again, for dividend investors, we know the stock historically, it has paid quarterly dividends. A lot of things can change in the market. The market conditions can change, the economic conditions can change. So just because the stock might be getting cheaper in terms of share price, also consider what is the value of the stock, so that you can determine if you are overpaying or underpaying. Obviously, we all love a situation where we are underpaying for the stock. So that's it in terms of those tobacco stocks. So looking at the remaining company, well, is there anything that is interesting with Abbott? I'm not sure. Abbott Laboratories. Well, we can see the stock is trying to remain above this key level, but there isn't much interesting. The stock might recover, however long it's going to take it to recover. But you can see there's a potential resistance level here, there's a potential resistance level here, and there are a lot of other potential resistance level, but there's nothing that can stop the stock just from cracking from wherever it is to push all the way up there. But it's not something that we are really interested in at this moment. So lastly, we spoke about American Express. So is there anything that looks interesting in terms of American Express? Again, it's another company that we know that it pays dividend. You can see the chart, it is not that exciting, so there isn't much trading opportunities from these big dividend companies. So for trading purposes, where are we looking at? Again, we are looking at Tesla. We're gonna wait to see how much cars did Tesla deliver and if they were able to generate money. I've already mentioned that Tesla broke above this small consolidation period. You can see that this level is going up, so that is exciting. We took a recent position. We're going to see what the stock is going to do around this level, and then from these two levels in here. Basically, we want to see if Tesla can come and trade around $400 per share. So this is a position that we have. If the news they come, they are happy, they are positive, and the market interprets those news as positive, then definitely we're gonna jump in and want to buy Tesla. So that is one company that we are looking at. And then the other company that we are looking at is obviously Netflix. Here at Netflix, what we are hoping to see, we want to see if Netflix can come and test this 519 520 level. We already have a position, so fingers crossed that this stock can just quickly move rapidly to reach that level in there. So that's it for today in terms of the companies that will be releasing earnings. If you found value in this video, please make sure that you smash that like button. We always appreciate your feedback. For those who haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. We will see you in the next video.